Yeah,
I said we just
probably
ask.
because within the week, so because most of them are students, today is like probably some persons had classes, so that's why we usually record the call, right? So in case they're not able to make it, they can always reference the recording on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, interesting. Awesome, awesome. Like I'm so happy to be here, and so I won't start this way. The truth is, I just finished a class. So I'm really a passionate like educator in the Web3 space. Like I'm so passionate to see um, young persons, especially coming into the Web3 space. For me, it's like it's really a passion, right? And why also I see that, or why I love doing it also is that see, there's money in the space. Um, 95% of persons that are coming into the Web3 space actually first is because of the money, and I'm also one of them. I came into the space because of the money. Probably some of you guys are here because of the passion. Can I see persons that are here because they are learning Web3 for the passion? Anybody? I'm not. I'm not one of that person. Me, I'm here for the money. But is there anybody here that is here for the passion? I'm trying to say, yeah. Please let's talk. Please, if you can also turn on your camera, I would love to have that. Like, I love to have classes with camera turned on.
I'm in for both.
Oh, you're here for both. Please, I will really, really love you guys turning your cameras. Like, that would be super awesome for me. Am I having that?
Well, I would have loved to turn on my own, but I'm currently having light issues.
Okay, understood. Anybody is turning on their own? Okay, so let us go on. But I really love when taking classes. We turn on cameras and we just enjoy ourselves, right? It's more communicative, it's more interesting, right? When our cameras are turned on and we kind of enjoy the class more than talking to somebody you are not seeing or stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, some people say they are here for both. Some people here say they are here for 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 the money. So why I would want to say that is the truth is, yeah, I'm also happy that most of us here that are here are really like from Nigeria, are from Africa, right? Unlike some other training I do where you have different part of persons from different part of the world. So, but you see, why I'm happy that most of us here are Nigerians is that there is something that we are facing, and we can. It's only us, right, that can talk to ourselves. Somebody from the US or somebody from outside the country can't come here and tell us, see, you need to learn, you need to do this thing, or this is how you solve problems. They will not understand what we are passing through. That's the truth. They will not understand. Because when they start saying, this, they will not understand. They will think that we don't want to do it or one thing or the other, right? So, but that is what it is. So, but you see, there won't be there's no excuse why you should not succeed. Right? You shouldn't have an excuse why we should not succeed, and there is always a valid excuse, right, for why you're not doing or why you are not getting to where you should be. There's always a valid excuse. One of the excuse can be, oh, I have an exam, or I have no, sorry, not really like an exam. Probably one of the valid excuses will be you don't have money for data, right? To probably come online or to learn online or to do one of the two things. Or one other excuse can be, which is a valid excuse because that's what I call it, which is a valid excuse is that I don't even have money to feed, talk less of to come and buy laptop or to even be buying data every time. Those are valid excuses. But you see, the truth is that the world does not care whether you are passing through hell or you came from a very poor background. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares about it. What people get to care is now, oh, this person is a smart contract developer, or this person is a smart contract auditor. Oh, this person is making 10K per month, right? I mean $10 per month. Oh, this person is making $5,000 per month. Even you yourself, you want to relate with that person. But you remember when the person will be passing through the hell, nobody cares. Nobody wants to even know whether the person is surviving or anything. right? This is like the literal truth about life, right? So why am I saying all of these things is because what blockchain UNN like will do for you, or what you guys have been doing in the training in this blockchain development is 1%. I will say it again. What whether is even is Vitalik that come today and is training you as he's one of the trainer in blockchain UNN, what he can only do to you is 1%. The remaining 99% is up to you guys. The best blockchain UNN can do, or any trainer that is coming here, or any mentor that is coming, the best they can do is to give you resources, right? Is to give you more resources to go on your own, and then create probably a channel where you ask questions. This is the best anybody can do for you. So what all this means is that it still boils down to you to go and get this knowledge, right? So what it still also means is that it requires you to spend more time, right, to get this knowledge. So what it also means, it means you need to manage your time. Most 95% or 100% of us that are here are students, right? So it means we have like what takes our time, something that takes our time, and we are trying to do this. It can be crazy, but it can be crazy does not mean it's not possible, because we have people that have done it, right, and are still doing it, right? That they are students and also are really progressing in this. You could see a person like Darlington, right? He's like a literal example of what I'm saying here, right? Right. So you could say, this guy is a student too, but he still they do blockchain and he's doing well. You know what he's doing, right? So there's no, I think it's like a perfect model for what I'm trying to say here, right? So it's possible, right? And I could also share with you that it's possible at this stage, even in school, right, to be paid like a politician, right? There are people that are in their 100 level, 200 level, and they are paid like a politician legally. So why am I bringing that? How many minutes have I spent? Okay, 16 minutes. I still have more time for what I'm saying. So why am I saying what I'm saying is, imagine you are paid $2,000 per month. $2,000 is in Nigerian money currently now is like 2 point something million naira. If we do some googling now, right now, and we check how much is the legal salary that is paid to a politician, most often 2 million, 3 million. So you could find out that you are also like a normal developer or a blockchain developer or an auditor is collecting what a politician is collecting, like legally, like the legal, not the one some of them used to still do, mind me, right? So um, um, I'm sharing this because this is possible. And also, let me give a very simple, a very quick success story about someone. So one of the training I did, there is this student. He's a student. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that guy is a student currently now. So after the training, right, the training lasts for 10 weeks. And after the training, this guy start doing what they call the contest for a smart contract auditor. I can tell you that guy, and in contest. So in contest sometimes can last for it happens every time, and some contests last for like 1 week, and after that 1 week, another contest will come. You perform, you just keep doing it, right? First, this guy didn't really know anything in auditing, right? And he just finished blockchain development bootcamp somewhere. I jumped into the course, right? And yeah, we started the training. I was training, and all of the things I showed them, and we were doing some practical stuff and the likes. So after the whole thing, he jumped into what they call the contest, and then he was I will not say he's lucky, because he paid the price, not to join the bootcamp, like coming to class when I teach, but this guy, and he's one of the person that anytime in class he asks questions like he's the only one in the class. He just keep asking questions. And for me, I love answering questions because I feel that's the only way I could help, right? So after the whole training, this guy was doing that contest, and he just reached out to me one time like that, and he said like I saw, yeah, he reached out to me, and I also saw it on his status. He won like $2,500 on a contest. Like this is someone, and he's a student, and this is someone that came into the whole thing, right? And apart from that, then he got a job in one auditing firm, right? So why am I saying this? Is for me, it gives me joy when I see things like, and this is not the first, this is not the second persons. There are plenty of them like that. Out of the training I have done, gotten job in auditing, are doing awesome well in smart contract auditing, right? Smart contract security, right? So, and I used to still tell them these things. I am only doing 1%, and you are limited to what I know, right? I'm only doing 1%, and you are limited to what I know. So the only way you'll be better is by you do Google, you search, you do your own research, you consume most of the materials that I will provide, you ask questions. And for me, the way I like doing my own classes, the question you ask, if I don't know the answer, the both of us will do the Googling together, right? Googling is a skill. The best smart contract developers, or the senior smart contract developers, what make them senior is because they know where to go and find the answers. It's not like they know it off their head, no, right? They know where to go and find the answers, right, in a very quick time, right? And because of experience. So I'm saying all of these things just to set the whole pace and to set the whole class. So so far, is there any comment, any question before we move to the next thing? Okay, no comments, no question. Okay, thank you. So, but please keep your question coming. So literally today we should be looking into roadmap, smart contract auditing roadmap, because of the limited time we have, and I think this might be just the only class we might be having. So yeah, with me here. So and also we should be also be looking into a walkthrough of like a methodology of smart contract auditing, right? So yeah, you could be taking notes. I really don't have a full slide, but I'll be sharing maybe just a roadmap mind map. So, but you could take note and ask questions. So we'll be talking about the roadmap of a smart contract developer, smart contract auditor. Sorry, mind me. We'll be talking about smart contract auditor and also a methodology, right, when performing smart contract audits, right? A very basic methodology, right, due to our time. And I'll be sharing a lot of resources. That's what I'll just do here. I'll try to share a lot of resources so as you go and then consume your own self. And I think that should do well for this program. So let's start by a roadmap, right? Let's start by the roadmap. So before that, let me see. Let me sec. Okay. So is Darlington, how many hours is this call? Is Darlington here? How many hours should this call
Yeah, yeah,
be?
I'm here. The call should probably, since they are it would end by 10, so
Okay,
9:30, 10 o'clock is good. Yeah.
okay, okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find something quickly. Don't mind me. Okay, I can use this slide also. So let me start with this guy. Mm, 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 mm. What are you people saying? Ekene, you can finish by 11. That's interesting. Okay, let me see. Let me see. So, please, is my screen visible to you guys? Can you see my screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll be using. I'll be using this mind map to go through with you guys. So I'll also share the link to this mind map. Yeah, so Quill Audit is like a very good auditing firm also. I once worked with these guys too. So they kind of have like a curated list of stuffs around their educational system too. So we'll just go through this mind map, and the person that actually came up with this mind map at the first instance, right before Quill Audit started, was also someone that very 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 interesting guy. Rizor, he's also like a smart contract auditor. He works with Consensus, and he has been in the space for a very long time, and he's really good. So he took his time when coming up with this mind map. Then Quill Audit also has been improving it on them. So sorry, not mind map, roadmap. Sorry. So you see, smart contract auditing is a very very important role in the blockchain or in the smart contract audit, development space. You One of the things you found is, even before I know, once you guys, everybody hear about smart contract auditing, everybody hear, there's a lot of money in there, or there's a lot of stores in there. So you want to ask yourself, why is it that smart contract auditors are being paid highly, right? Or why is it that it's a very very important role, right? Because there's a lot of money that is at stake, right? There's a lot of money that is at stake, and these guys that are now auditors, right, are putting their neck at stake. Even though there's some disclaimer, I think we get to talk about it when we talk about those methodology and process. Excuse me. So for smart contract auditing, there is really, like, before you become a smart contract auditor, you have to really have a good knowledge about blockchain development, right? Because you can't audit, or you can't give in-depth counseling about something you don't know. For instance, we used to hear, so let me just bring this part here. So you hear some people that are not married, and they are actually marriage counselor. I don't know how that works, right? So I don't know how that works. Or you hear someone that is let me see, what's another example. So I don't know. So you just find some people that are really say, okay, they are counseling, or they are what they call them again. They are doing consultation, right? They are consultants in a particular field, but they don't really have experience. They don't have experience in that field. Like, so then how do you get to consult? How do you what's if you how do you give effective solutions, right? How do you profile? How do you give effective solutions to these things? So this now breaks down that. This is why I'm saying, first, for you to be a smart contract auditor, you really have to become. You need to know, like, this is the ideal thing to do. Questions can come that, must somebody be a blockchain developer before him being a smart contract auditor, or a smart contract developer before becoming a smart contract auditor? So before you, maybe if the question is in your head, let me answer it very quickly. The answer is yes and no, right? So what's the question? The question is, must I be a smart contract developer before I become a smart contract auditor? The answer is yes and no. So yes, because we have seen people that have jumped from one class, like we have seen people that did not do, they wrote the WAEC for them, and they went into higher institution, and they are still they are still excelling, right? Somehow they are passing their courses somehow. Will you say someone can't jump and come to their institution? You say that is a no, right? Someone can actually, because we have seen it. Some people, they wrote the WAEC for them. They didn't do one. It's not like they even went to school. Probably they just did primary school, maybe did from JS1 to JS3, and then they stopped, right? Then they jumped and they just somehow maybe they were playing, like all of these boys at their head is not staying at home, and their parents were like, you need to go to school. Then the boy was like, okay, I want to go to school. They'll be like, okay, we'll write the WAEC for you. Go and pay money in Miracle Center, and they'll write the WAEC for them, and they'll pass. The WAEC will be good, and they'll put them in one private university, and maybe probably by the grace of God, the guy head will now calm down, and then he keep reading. Somehow he'll be passing his papers. Somehow. So that will now show us that yeah, it's possible for someone to just jump and then come into. So that is a yes. Then it's a no, because for the analogy I just gave about this boy that now jumped and went to higher institution, it will be different from someone that actually passed through the process, right? And then came to higher institution, and then and problems were given to them in class to solve. The truth is that the both of them might solve this problem at the end, right? But the person that passed through the process will solve this problem faster, quicker, effective, like in the best way, right? With the best solution, especially when it's even a mathematical problem, right? The person that passed through the process, and in mathematics, they always want to tell you to show the formula, like show the steps, make sure because that's even you yourself, if you're very good in maths, like one of the good things you want to do is like, oh, because you know the thing, you want to show the steps, you want to show how everything comes to, like how you're proving, how you're making sure, how you're proving every part of it, right? Whether you're bringing in different formulas, you're bringing in different concepts, right? Probably you're solving derivative, you're bringing in indices, you're bringing in different concepts to solve that particular problems, right? So that's like because you pass through the process. But for someone that did not pass through the process, right, he might just kind of put A and B together, do this, and somehow he will come up with the answer, right? Even at the goal, someone will be like, oh, the goal is to come up with the answer, right? But sometimes in mathematics, they want to tick you based on your on your solutions, or the steps on the steps you use to solve those problems, right? So this is why I said it's a yes and it's a no, right? So, but the ideal thing to do is to really pass through the process, right? The ideal thing to do is to pass through the process. So, first thing you want to do is to pass through the process, and which is learning blockchain development. So, in this roadmap, right, first thing you get to find here is blockchain. So, what we're looking at the moment is, I like saying this: the blockchain is not Ethereum. Ethereum is an example of the blockchain. Let's get that straight, right? The blockchain is not. So we have different type of the blockchain. We have Hyperledger, right? We have non-permissionless blockchain, right? So you want to just see. So Ethereum is one type of. No, it's really not a one type of the blockchain, because we have the types of the blockchains we have are like, I believe you guys must have done this part, all of this part, but you kind of find out the type of blockchains we have are like, we have the private blockchain, the non-private blockchain, we have the private the private blockchain, the public blockchain, the private and public blockchain, right? So these are like the type of blockchains we have, right? Then in the public blockchain, that's when we now talk about Ethereum, right? So at this point, what we'll be looking at, the roadmap we'll be talking about here is, or the smart contract auditing roadmap we're talking about here is more into the Ethereum ecosystem, right? The Ethereum ecosystem. As much as you can also use like this same roadmap in other part of like the blockchain, or other part of other type of or like other type or other examples of the blockchain, right? So which is like Solana, Stacknet, and its likes, right? So, but we'll be looking mostly into the Ethereum ecosystem here. So the first thing here is to look. The first thing here is to blockchain technology explain. So you get to learn the blockchain, and that's what you guys are already doing here. You get to learn some basics of cryptography, because one of the backbone about the blockchain is cryptography. You get to learn Ethereum, right? Ethereum documentation, right? You're mastering. So there are resources about that which I'll be sharing here. Like, so all of these are links to resources, So I'll also be sharing these links, right? So you can see these are links to the resources, right? So I'll also be sharing this link, this particular link, with you guys, right? So you play with that on your own, because this roadmap really it has a lot of stuff in it. So after that, you've learned the blockchain. I believe that's what probably you guys have done in this training. So then the next thing you want to move towards is Solidity fundamentals, right? So because I just said we are actually looking into the Ethereum blockchain, and then there's a programming language that is mostly used to write the smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain, which is Solidity. So you need to now learn the Solidity fundamentals, right? So this is what you get to learn, and these are resources for you to be able to learn these things. Then the next thing you want to do is to learn to test, right? Testing, like today I was in class with my students. I was like, I gave them a task. Some people did the task, but there was no test and there was no deployment script, right? So you wrote a smart contract, but you did not test it and you not even deploy it. Then how do you know it's working? And you bought it and you say you should look at it, right? So why am I saying that is that this is also something you really need to know, very handy, right? So testing and debugging and frameworks used for testing and debugging, right? So we have them here: Hadad, Brownie, Foundry. Tenderly is really for simulation of um it's really for simulation actually. So but yeah, quite also interesting too. Simulation, so that's around testing also. So there are also like other things used for testing, like tools and it like so, but I think we'll look into that probably. So we have libraries, right? Commonly used libraries and token standard. So you see in the Ethereum ecosystem, there are like a lot of standards. There are a lot of standard. And why I love like the Ethereum ecosystem is because you find the blockchain is actually a public it's an open source is more of an open source project you have on the blockchain, right? And Ethereum is one of it. And so you can find a lot of proposals that's why you have a lot of standards, because people just keep on coming up with different standard, different proposal. Okay, let's have this in this way, let's have this in this way, let's have this in this way. And once it passes the proposal, it becomes a standard, it becomes what is now used in the ecosystem. So there are a lot of couple of number of standards, and they are like commonly used standards like you use like in your everyday as a smart contract developer and also as a smart contract auditor. Like you will see them every day in project. For instance, ERC20, right, which is like a token, right? ERC721s, NFTs, right? So you have like a lot of them, right? You just keep seeing them as you go. So it's very nice to like get yourself familiar with most of these standards. And yeah, these are like few of them that you can start with. Also, libraries. You have a lot of libraries we use, right, to make our work very faster and quicker. So what I'm explaining at the moment is the step is this is more of what a blockchain developer is to do. This is really not so. But let's say you are just coming as a software engineer, right, from a Web2's perspective, right? This roadmap it's more for like the entire roadmap is more for somebody that is coming. Let's say like it's for you guys when probably you did not start this training, you did not start this course with blockchain UNN to become a blockchain developer, right? So at the beginning of this course, these are the things I believe even probably you guys have gone through most of these things here, right? So because these are what makes you what to become a blockchain developer, right? Then as you move downward, you start seeing. So this is like number 4, right? You can see that this is number 4. Then as you move downward, you start seeing more security things. Just like I said, you can't actually give solution to what you don't know, or you can't find problem to something you don't know. Because as a smart contract auditor, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to find bugs, you're trying to find issues. So how do you find issues with what you don't know? So it means you have to be very strong in blockchain or smart contract development. So that's what I'm going through this roadmap. What's my time? Trying to look at my time. Okay, so that's that. So you have like all of these frameworks, a lot of frameworks around, right? I think most often OpenZebelin is very, very interesting framework. So you have a lot of framework and libraries around here to use. So number 5, solidity security standard and best practices. So even as a blockchain developer, one of the things you want to do, even today, like funny enough, today also I was sharing with my student, like some of them that were sharing with me their code, like all of them, I didn't see some like best practices. Like one of the best practices, at least, you should be having comments. You write smart contracts, right? Nobody, only you can read it. Nobody, any other developer that comes on the code base is not able to read it. Not because he's not able to read it, but it will take the developer time before they get to comprehend. But you see, with comments, the developer will just get to read, oh, this is what this function is doing. Oh, this is what this smart contract is doing, right? Or with README file, you get to see, oh, this is what the project is all about. And then the developer is able to get a very quick grasp of what this project is all about, what the functions are doing, and they can actually now get into the project, right? So this is like the best. These are best practices, right? So you get to you have to learn them, right? And you have to like know them, right? So best practices, you have solidity patterns, security, um, yeah, secure, right? Secure also, yeah. These are like resources about getting to know security standard and best practices. Um, Solidity security standard and best practices. Um, yeah, smart contract vulnerabilities. So in these particular parts, right, there are a lot of ways for you to get yourself familiar, right, with smart contract vulnerabilities. A lot of ways, right? Because at this stage now, right, what we're trying to do at this stage now, you are now getting into security. In fact, it starts from here, right? Already, you start seeing things about security, which you have to get to know, right? So you start from here, right? So it means at this stage, right? You're at this stage now. You're like you've left blockchain development. Not like you left it entirely, because even as a smart contract, in fact, being a smart contract auditor makes you a very good smart contract developer, right? Being a smart contract auditor makes you a very, very good smart contract developer. One of the reasons is because first, you get to read a lot of code, people code. So imagine, like, so being a smart contract auditor, right? It's a crazy tax. I could tell you that it's a crazy tax, because this is why I'm saying it's a crazy tax. A smart contract developer will be out there, will be like, he gets to design this system. Like, he can take months, years for them to design the system. Then you give that system to a smart contract auditor to now look into the system and then find problems. And for a smart contract auditor, they can't just start finding problems without understanding the system. And probably the time frame they have is like, let's say 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 month. But this is a system that was built within around 1 year, 6 months, and then you're giving it to an auditor to now look into it, and then you are expecting him, which is actually the expectation, for him to be able to find problem. And this process is for them to be able to they will first understand the project before they start finding problem, right? So you could see that it's a real hectic work. It's not just one play, because you have to understand the project in depthly, right? So as you'll be able to now start finding problems, right? So that's just by the way. I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing that. So for smart contract vulnerability, right? You need to now have, like, you need to really get yourself familiar with a lot of smart contract vulnerabilities that are out there, a lot of them, and we have a lot of them, right? So these resources are here are like some resources that help you to like get familiar with some basic, some common vulnerabilities. Like, a lot of vulnerabilities are out there. Till tomorrow, new are coming out there. New ones, new vulnerabilities are coming up out there, because you're hearing a lot of hacks, right? So you have to get yourself familiar with them. You need to know them. These are things you need to know. Then uh, getting that. So another part of it is that CTF challenges. This is also very interesting. So I don't know how they used to say, I don't know how that saying used to go, but what I'm trying to say now is that you need to think like a thief, right? Because, yeah, you're trying to find issues. You are trying to mitigate where a thief will not be able to enter. So it means you need to think like a thief. You need to train yourself as a thief or as an attacker, right? So one of the ways to train yourself as an attacker is to play with CTF, capture the flag, challenges, right? So challenges that gives you around performing like trying to break into a particular smart contract, or trying to break into a particular code base, right? In the Ethereum so these resources here gives you all of these challenges, and they are super interesting, super important to do, right? Super important to do. So yeah, CTF challenges are very interesting to do. Interesting, this part, this particular finance and DeFi part, excuse me, please. Let me just okay, before I get into this guy, let me take some quick question. Yeah, let me take some quick question before I move forward. Question, guys. Question. Okay, comments. Any comments? Any question? Let's take it. I should not be talking alone, please. Someone should say something. Yes.
Commonly used libraries, but is it that like I have to understand everything in details amongst like all the libraries available?
Sorry, come again. I can.
And also this CTF, like what's the like this like this commonly used libraries and token standards? Is it that I have to understand everything in details, like all the libraries, how it work in details?
Very nice question, right? You can't understand everything, like everything at once, right? You can't like see. There's a lot of knowledge to like grasp, so you can't like overwhelm. Like there's just a lot, so you can't just say you want to understand. So, but it takes time. This is this is one of the reasons why you need to spend more time. If you say you want to be, you say you're getting into this space, you need to spend more time. Even as a blockchain developer, you need to spend more time because there's a lot of resources for you to grasp. There are a lot of things for you to consume, right? So there will not even be time in 24 hours. Self, you'll be finding time to even eat, even to do things, right? Because you need to spend more time to be very good in knowing a lot of them. Because the more knowledge you have, right, the more value you get to give, and the better you become in your skill, right? So if, for instance, you just get to, for instance, if I talk about ERC token standard, you get to just know only this guy. It's good though, but it's not as good as someone that knows this guy and more of it, right? So what I would say is knowing few of them is a good thing, but you have to just keep learning, putting more of it. But at least having these basics of what like these ones that are here, self, is a good point to start, and you just know that okay, you just keep learning. Like I think life itself generally is a learning curve. Like we keep learning till the day we die. So having that mindset already is something we should have, right? Yeah. Um. Yeah. Franklin, question.
Like, is there like a an official body? Like, because I know of static auditing this thing that audits projects like smart contracts this thing. So, like, is there like an official body that certifies that okay, like this person can audit so contract, or this person is a licensed auditor, and then like qualifications the person has to have.
Beautiful, nice question. Super nice question, and I love this question because um, it's a free world. I can tell you, it's a super free world. There is nobody like that. Even though some organizations now are trying to create what they call like a profile, right? So as to help some auditors to look as a professional out there, and then they can actually attest to those persons, right? There are organizations that are trying to do that, but that's like an organization in their own cycle. But you see, in the blockchain space, this is the more reason why the blockchain is very interesting and it's growing super fast, because it's a decentralized system. Everybody you can just jump into anything as long as you follow the rules and regulation, right? So just to answer your question, there is really nobody, there is no organization that is saying, okay, these are the like for instance, if you are an electrical engineer, right? Maybe in Nigeria, you maybe if you want to, you have to join maybe if you are done with your school, then you join the is it IEEE community, right? I think something of that nature. So that now gives you are now part of the community of engineers, right? And you see that community also brings up standards in the engineering space. I think something of that nature, something of that nature happens, right? They also profile or they give in standards. I think even in your engineering space, you find out that some SI units, right? Engineering, let's say terminology or concepts, are actually they are coming from a particular body, right? Because they believe that body they must have passed through some scientific patterns, right? So, but in the auditing space, there's really no like body that is really regulating that. But as much as there is nobody, right? In fact, that's what even make it more harder because the standard keep coming high, right? Like what I mean the standard, if a particular smart contract or a particular project wants to employ an auditor, they really make sure that they get their own standard, their own requirements for them to employ that auditor. And because there is no like specific way of how it has to happen. They come up with the way they want it, and maybe probably out of experience, right? They get to now learn from those experience and come up with their own standard. So that's what it is. So, but anybody, you can also be a solo auditor. You can decide to like start having your own audits for persons out there. So that's what it is. Last question. Anybody with the last question? Okay, so let's move forward. So so we have CTF. Okay, we've done CTF challenge, finance and DeFi. This is where they say the money is, right? Finance and DeFi. So is anybody here that is like that knows financial mathematics? Anybody here? I'm kind of curious. I just want to see anybody here that's very good in financial mathematics. Nobody. Okay, interesting. Okay, so finance and DeFi. So you see in this part, right? This is where in the blockchain. This is where they say the money is, right? Because everybody thinks the blockchain is more of finance. Like some people will start asking, is it only in the finance sector that the blockchain is useful? It's actually a no. There's actually use cases that the blockchain is useful, right, in different sectors. But yeah, why finance is like a very buzzer is that the truth is that your heart is where your money is, right? So, so most people's hearts is where their money is, and it's in the finance sector, right? So I think that's for me, that's like the explanation of why the finance is really a big buzzer everywhere, right? Everybody's hearts is where their money is, even though they are building great solutions with different technologies or different with use cases, right? But their hearts will be more into the finance part. And the truth is that the blockchain really solves a lot of issues in the finance sector, right? It solves a lot of issues in the finance sector. And another thing also is that the blockchain comes from like we all started like Bitcoin, right? So you could see the first use case of the blockchain is like the Bitcoin, and like it takes the first mover of what issues people think it should. It takes like people have the narrative of what the blockchain is from a finance perspective, and that has become the order of the day. Even though it's not all about finance, right? There are also use cases of what the blockchain can solve. So yeah, but this part finance is something very critical you have to know as a blockchain developer and also a smart contract auditor, right? Sorry, as a smart contract auditor and also a blockchain developer. Probably in another time, maybe some other time, we can talk about what's the difference between a blockchain developer, a smart contract auditor, or a smart contract developer, a blockchain engineer, because this is something I had to make an argument with my student in class, because some people think it's the same, but I could tell you that they are different. So we could also, how I do it is that we do the Googling together, right? We search it together. We try to find what are the difference. What does it mean? So you don't go and put maybe after the whole course or after one training you did, you just go and put engineer or you just go and put developer. You don't know you don't know what it means, right? So we do the googling together, probably some other time, and then. But it's super. I think maybe you could also check on your own end, but I think it's something for everybody to know because it's very important. So in this finance part, you really have to like understand some basics of finance, like financial mathematics, some finance concepts, right? Some financial concepts. You really need to understand these things very, very well. Like, because these are also so one good thing about also technology and generally is that even the blockchain itself, you find that they're actually using implemented things that has been used for years, that has been tested, and then they bring that concept into the blockchain. So sorry, so there's nothing new under the sun, right? There's really nothing new under the sun. So um, some of the things you get to see in the blockchain, it's not like is a new thing. It's actually something that has been working somewhere, and then that concept is then brought into here, and then just added some small things into it, and it becomes what it is. So even in this finance world, in this blockchain DeFi, right, it's not like it's a new thing. There are a lot of concept majority of the concept that is gotten from the finance. That's why I was asking anybody that has a finance background here, like financial math or come from a business background here, right? Those are the most concept that is brought, and then they are used here, right? So there are a lot of resources here that also can show you some of those things here, and you get yourself very good in them, right? So, but you have to get yourself into it, right? Even as a blockchain developer, smart contract developer, or smart contract auditor. So this is 8. So we go to 9, right? You see, 9 and 6 are like something similar, right? 9 and 6 are something similar. So what is postmortem? Postmortem is like postmortem and audit report. So postmortem is like, let's say for instance, an audit, a project was hacked, right? Let's say a project was hacked, and then a smart contract auditor or a blockchain developer or a blockchain engineer, somebody that understands the hack, right? Write an article or write what really happened about the hack. So that process or that article is actually seen as a postmortem, right? So he wrote an article or wrote something about the hack, then share the article or a blog or something about that. So giving a detail, maybe technically, theoretically, analyzing how the attacker did it, how the attacker really stole money, how what was the vulnerability, what was the issue, right? And it's like, do I have a question? Okay, yeah, question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to know if there's anything like a forensic report concerning, let's say, a hack
Yeah.
on blockchain. Like, is there people that are specialized in that? Like people that
Yeah, that,
specialize in forensic report
yeah, they
concerning
are.
a major hack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the disadvantage about, like, okay, no, not a disadvantage actually. Forensic reports, like they are, especially in Nigeria. So yeah, I also, like, I don't know. Let me ask if it's okay to say this here. Let me see. Is Darlington still here? Sorry, I just want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know.
I'm here. I'm here.
Hey, is it okay to talk about guild audits, like, and so?
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally okay.
Okay. So yeah. So this is the thing. So we started up like a company here also in Lagos, and one of the things we're trying to do is also, and we partner with some other persons. So first, um, like what you just make mention of, forensic reports, right? Um, one of the issues with that is most forensic reports we find are not into the technical parts. They are like, and most often, like, if forensic report most times are coming from taking some analysis, right, doing some research. But you see, in the blockchain space, most often like that's, I think the forensic report can also, it's more of like the postmortem. Let's put it that way, like forensic reports and then postmortem. So, but you see, in the blockchain space, your forensic reports will be more technical. It's not just okay, this is how the money left this bank, and literally that's what you're doing in postmortem. So there's a company, so in what we're doing at Guild Audit is we're trying to also build that kind of system, right? That's like one thing we're doing at Guild Audit. But there's a company currently now which we're also partnering with, which is called Convexity, right? They're in Abuja. So they're in Abuja. So they do forensic report. They do forensic reports, and they can also train. They're actually training most persons that want to become what do you even call them again? Blockchain forensics or something of that nature. But it's all around the blockchain system, right? In fact, recently I think they were training also the CBN around stuff on forensic on that, right? Forensic on that. So talking about forensics is super a very interesting topic. So, but if you probably want to dive into that aspect, right, and you probably want to learn more from a theoretical part, I'll advise you to check about Convexity, right? You could just Google it and check them out. Convexity. So they really literally train people on that theoretical part of it. So, but you see, the blockchain space is more of the technical part, like see how do someone write a code to steal money or to, so they don't call it steal, like they call it how to someone write a code to exploit a particular protocol, right? So but that's what it is. Yeah. So postmortem, right? So there are a lot of resources to, or blogs, right, or postmortem sites where you could keep reading. And this is very, very important because the more postmortem you get to read, you get to understand, you get to learn, right? The more vulnerabilities or the more ways. So what you're just trying to think is that you're training your brain to start thinking as a thief. Sorry, I'm using the word here, but that's like, for lack of word, like that's the best word, or the best word to use, right? So you're training your brain to think like a thief, right? So you start thinking of, okay, how do this thief or how do this guy who wants to exploit a protocol would think like? So the more ways you learn out of postmortem, right, the better you become, right? So also audit reports. So you see, audit report also helps you to also train your brain, train your skill sets, right, as a smart contract auditor, right? So you start reading different audit reports. Like, so when we mean by audit report is that it's a project wants to build, a project is built, right? After they built, so okay, let me see the time we have. Okay, nice. So we're doing 10. Okay, so I have to spin up quickly. So audit report is just the report after a report given when a project has been actually checked through an auditor that, okay, this project is safe and sound. So, but when I go into the methodology, when I start methodology, I could talk about audit reports maybe in depth a little. So you have places where you can read most audit report for most projects, right? And it's very good for you to keep reading this audit report because it makes you better, right? It's very, very important. In fact, it's one of the core feature of who a smart contract auditor is, because you have to keep reading audit report. Because one of the problems is that, you see, this blockchain space, it's really not that as big as a lot of people think. And when I mean as big, in the perspective of most of the issues you keep finding are or most of the vulnerabilities you kind of still finding are like similar to each other. So and most times some people still do the same mistake in the new project they are building, right? So if you're able to familiarize yourself with a particular vulnerabilities or bugs or issue or vectors, when you come, maybe a new project is building and the developer that built that project might do the same issue. So you can just jump on the code and boom, because you're familiar with most of these issues, you just see it there, and it will not take you time. So it will be like you're a magician, but it's just because you familiarize yourself with it. So yeah, auditing tools and techniques. So there are a lot of auditing tools, right? There are a lot of auditing tools. There are a lot of techniques that helps you to it's not like some help you to find vulnerabilities on your code base. Some help you to check the correctness of your code base and a lot of things, right? So, but these are like tools and techniques on some will help you to build a mind map, right? a mind map of a particular project, right? So all of these things are auditing tools and techniques. 11, keep yourself updated, right? Learning never stop. Learning never stop. Let me just finish, then then I'll just take some questions. So learning never stop. So just keep yourself updated. So these are communities where you need to join to keep yourself updated. Like, what are the hacks? What is happening? What is the new thing? What is happening? Like a lot of sites, right? People you can also follow that are on Twitter. Very good place to keep yourself updated and stuff like that. Miscellaneous resources. So these are also resources you could still check on. And yeah, so this is the guy that's the author of the guy, Razor. Yeah, very cool guy. So yeah, question. Yeah, ask the question, please.
Okay, I have a question. I want to know, like, what is the major targets whenever somebody wants to hack the blockchain? Is it the node or something else?
Nice question. I think I like this question. But let me sorry, can you mute yourself, please? Your background is, yeah, thank you. So let me probably rephrase the question. Okay, let me just answer it straight. So my question is, what's the major target of attacker? Where do they target the most? In fact, I believe you've gotten the answer, because the truth is that nobody wants to target where there is no money. Why should I be targeting? See, no, so it's not it's a global project. So it's not like me and you are competing. No, right? That okay, I want to spoil your project. So even though I want to spoil your project, the only way I want to spoil your project is to find the parts where there is the money, right? So the only place people will want to target is the money part. That's the first, like, so I'm seeing that from that perspective, right? That's okay. When people want to target something, it's from the money part. Then moving a level up, right? Most often, like I think I've had this argument and I have this discussion with some of other auditors, right? Most often, I think that so far we have not heard of a protocol being hacked. And when I mean a protocol, for instance, have you heard that Ethereum has been hacked? Don't mistake that from probably if you have heard about the DAO hack. The DAO hack is not the Ethereum protocol being hacked. I will explain what I'm trying to say. But we have not heard of like, let's say the consensus of that protocol is being hacked, right? But rather, so in the blockchain architecture, we have like two layers. We have the protocol layer and we have the application layer, like the application layer and the protocol layer. So you see, most often, issues we always find is from the application layer. The protocol layer, we have never heard personally. Please, you could also do more research. I'll be really happy to find anybody that have more resources or something that shows, okay, there was a protocol layer that was hacked. And when I mean the protocol, like the way Ethereum is, Ethereum now has like the consensus layer and the execution layer, right? In the protocol itself. So let's say now the execution layer, which is probably the execution layer is like a client, which which we talk about like get or Nethermine, right? So let's say those clients were hacked. Yeah, it's possible. Don't say it's not possible. It's possible because recently there's a talk around. There's a lot of people using the get client that's the get node client for the execution layer of Ethereum, right? So it means if there's a bug in that get client, it means it will affect a lot of persons. So we want to see that as a vulnerability, right? So that also brings up like a kind of vulnerability. But so far we have not heard about a hack, right? So that's being said. So where attacker get to focus more are on the application layer. And when we mean application layer, like all of those products we build on top of the blockchain, right? So and when you look into those type of application layer, most often you find that the attackers are really looking into DeFi protocols, right? DeFi products, right? So because that's where the money is. Why will I, if I'm an attacker, for instance, if I'm an attacker, why should I suffer myself to attack a product that there's no money in it? My aim for attacking is that I want to get money out of it, right? So In fact, if an attack happened to a product that there is no money, you know we hear about the attack. You know we hear about the hack because they did not lose anything, right? So, but when there's money involved, you surely hear about that. They lose 100 million, they lose 1,000 million, or some, and therefore, right? So it's actually around the attack. It's around the application layer, and into the application layer is around most often the DeFi protocols. More question, please. More question. Okay, thank you. So let's look at blah, 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 blah. Let's look at smart contract auditing process. This is my screen still visible.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just talk very quickly on these parts, and I didn't really have something good on it. So, but I'll share quickly on this. It's it's really not like the slide is really not what will I call it? It's not uh, it's not a full-fledged slide, right? So it's not in more details. It's very very slow, more, very few details. So but I'll just be talking through most of it, right? Just so if you want to take notes, take notes. So but I will not be sharing this particular slide or this particular slide you're seeing, right? So I was sharing the other one I shared with you guys. So because this is really not more detailed, and yeah, it's not much in detail, right? So first, a smart contract auditing, or let me even better still, let me take. Sorry, guys. Like I think I just. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is what I want us to do. So this is an audit. This is a smart contract auditing report, right? Most often you get to see smart contract auditing report, very beautiful, but yeah, it's very actually being designed, but the content is gotten from a document like this. So this is what I did. Like this particular report has long where when I was working for a project. Whose mic is on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can mute you. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so smart contract process or the methodology, right? Or writing a smart contract audit report. Um, it's more like, thank God most of you guys here are like in school, so you kind of understand how to most time you kind of understand how to write a report, right? So you get to see the structure, and it's similar to what you know, right? In writing a report, right? It's similar to what you know. Um, So what I would do for this particular, because of lack due to time, is to show, like, to talk about the methodology. And when I mean like methodology, the method, like the process in which you will perform a smart contract auditing, right? So you have a code base. So what's the process like? If I give you a code base to audit, what's the process? What's your methodology? How do you go about it, right? So this is what first happened. Uh, there's a code base. Let's say there's a code base that I was given. Let's say the name of the project is Ballistic, and this project was given to Mr. A to audit. So what is the process that Mr. A will follow? The first thing Mr. A should do, right, is first, as the project comes, you first have to create a communication channel, any proper channel that you think is comfortable for both the clients and you yourself, right? So you create a communication channel. So the clients also will get to send um, the clients will get to send the document, right? The client will have to send you a document. And what document is client sending to you? A document that shows what they call the white paper or the light paper, or a document that explains the project in detail, right? At least explain the project in detail from a high level, the business logic, how the project works, like explain every part of the project. That's when somebody reads the project, right? The person understand. Like, I mean, when somebody that is not a developer will read the project, the person will be able to understand what the project is all about, right? Most times those are like white paper or light paper, right? So the you as an auditor will have to get that paper or get that document, consume that document to the core. You have to have a good understanding of that document, good understanding of the project from that level, right? So you have to have a very good understanding of the project from that level, right? So after having that good understanding, probably there might be question you might. That's why you have a good communication channel with the client. So there might be a question, you ask the client the questions, you like, okay, I don't understand this thing you wrote in this project, in this part of the document. Can you explain? He explains to you. You move forward. You keep reading. You understand the project from that high level. So you now know. So reading that now, you now know the players, the persons that are in the project, the things you have in the project, who are the people, who are the things, who are the agents and the likes. Just you kind of know every part of the project, right? From reading the white paper or the document. So now that's like one of the first thing you have to do, right? So you've not gotten into the code. So before I go further, this methodology I'm talking about is like a basic methodology, or is a basic method, or is a basic process. There is no specific way, right? So it's this but there is just a basic way, like at least any way you want to take up with how to go about it, it's fine, right? So, but this what I'll be sharing, what this particular pattern I'm sharing is something that is common, right? I think it's the commonest part where every beginner into smart contract auditing had to start from, right? So, but yeah, you as you keep going, you might decide to, oh, I think I don't like this. Like, okay, I would like to just start this way. I want to start from the bottom. I want to start from the left, like that, right? So, but this is like a very clean way of of going about this, right? So do well. Just note that it's not like this is a must way to follow, but it's like the how would I say recommended. So when something is recommended, it does not mean like it's the must. It mustn't. If you follow another way, it might still work. It will work, right? But this is like a very good way to follow in doing this. So when you have read the projects from that high level, then the code is given to you, right? Or you have the code already. Most often, this code will be given to you as a GitHub link, right? So you get to track. So that's why one good thing about the GitHub, right? So it's even more important to have it as a GitHub on GitHub. So you see the last when the project was last committed, like the last PR that was done lastly, right? So you get to see the last commit, and you have to save that last commit. So as any changes that was made, You could always track the changes that was made, right? So you download, you have this project, you now have it on your own local, and now you have the project right in front of you. One of the things you have to start also, so the next step is now to create a mind map of the project, like the structure of the code base, right? When I mean the code base now, you have to now create a mind map, right? You have to see, okay, how is this, probably is the project built with, if it's in the EVM space, is the project built with is the project built with Foundry, or is it built with Hadat, right? Or is it built with Truffle? So these are, or is it built with Brownie? So these are like, so you kind of like start putting yourself into the shoes, you start understanding the project from that structural part of it. You've done that. The next thing you move up to now is to now get into the project step, like each file of the Solidity. So now we're talking about Solidity. So each file of the Solidity file, you get into it, right? You start drawing a mind map of the file, of the functions or the smart contract itself, right? So there are other tools that helps you to draw a mind map, just to point to understand what the functions are doing. So you can decide to start that. You can decide to do that mind map, or you can decide to start by reading the file from top to bottom. If you are reading the file from the top, right, like a novel. So you are reading the Solidity code like a novel. When I mean you are reading it like a novel, you are reading it literally line by line. And as you're reading, you are comprehending, right? So you're reading it line by line. And as you're reading, you're kind of understanding, okay, this is what this in the, this is what, so you can do the first reading, right, line by line, then you come back again and do another second reading. As you're doing it, most often you'll be finding some issues, like some basic issues. Then you can be putting some tags just on the code, because that is on your local, right? It's on your local machine. Let me see. Now, let me do something quickly. Let me see if I can pick up a very quick code base. Okay, let me use. Sorry, Ethos. I think Ethos on Code Farina the other time is fine. Ethos is fine. Yeah, so it's not because I'll be auditing it. I will not be showing you what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so you see what I first said. Is my screen still visible, please? Answer me, oh, if my screen is still visible.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have this. So I'm just trying to give you, like, I want you guys, as I'm saying what I'm saying, you're kind of picturing what I'm saying. So that's why I have to share my VS Code here. So you kind of picture what I'm saying and have a visual about it. So you have this code base given to you, right? So first you've read the documentation, you understand what this project is all about, you understand the business logic, you understand what and what should happen and what should not happen, right? So you understand it from that high level. So now you are going into the code. So now I also mentioned you also have to understand the structure, right? So you saw that this project is built with this project is actually built with Foundry and Hadat, right? And which is possible, which is what it is, right? So you have Foundry, right, and Hadat on this project. Let me see. Is that? Yes. So um the next thing you are trying to do now is to understand the code base, right? So you can start reading this code base, for instance, line by line. So for instance, when I mean line by line, I mean this is line 1. You say, okay, I believe you guys, so you're a Solidity developer, so you should understand most of virtually everything on Solidity. So you understand that this is a license, so this tells us what license they are using, Very, very important. You might think that this is not important. It's very, very important, right? Why? You see, this license is different from probably the license you kind of know, or the MIT license. So this is also something to check. Even as much as little as it is, you might think it's not important, right? But this is something to check. To really, as a solidity developer, you also need to know, okay, what are the contents in a particular license, because you have several licenses, right? So what are the particular content in that license? What are the do and dot on each license? Because I remember there was a time Uniswap v3, right? I think it has expired. I think at the moment now it has expired. So, but when they built Uniswap v3, the license they use, as much as it's an open source project, but the license they use, which is an open source project, but because of the content of that open source license, it does not allow anybody to use the Uniswap v3 code exactly on their project. If you are caught, so if you are caught in within the time frame which was specified on their license using that Uniswap v3 code, you'll be sued and they will make money out of your head. I don't know if you get this idea. So it's very also important. So I think, but the license has expired currently now. So I think it's open for anybody to use. So you can use. I think I'm not sure. We don't have to check on that. But it's something. It's what it is at that point. So you get to read this guy. You see, okay, oh, this guy pragma solidity 0.6. So you just keep reading line by line, line by line. You just keep reading it. You read this, you keep reading it line by line. Like, I mean, line by line, just like you're reading a novel. Whether it's a billion code, you keep reading it. That's your work, right? That's the work, what you're doing. So you just keep reading it, reading. So this is quite a lot. So this is like 343 lines of code. So you just have to keep reading, right? So you read this. So what you just did was you just reading, and what is just happening is that you're just trying to learn or understand the project in depthly, right? So you keep reading. You maybe do another second reading. At this point, probably now you get a grasp of what is happening. You now start reading. Oh, this. Then maybe the third reading, you start putting the things together. Okay, you have a variable here, you have a function, so you start understanding, okay, what does this function do? Okay, this function has some parameters, it's taking in a lot of parameters. Okay, what does it do? Okay, it has an only owner, right? What are the logics? This is the body of the function. Okay, it requires that address set, right? It requires that not address set, right? So you kind of start playing, okay, what does it mean not address set? You start playing, okay, it means what is address set is an address that is actually being so where is address sets coming from? So you kind of check, right? So now you know. So without that, you kind of know what this function is doing, right? If you think there was an issue or there's a problem, for instance, let's say you think there was a problem here, so there's a tag called at audit, right? So this is also similar to sometimes I do this. So you do this tag at audit, then you write like for sometimes you might not understand fully, but you feel like there's a problem with this line of code. You'll be like, sorry. You'll be like, sorry, let me do this. Sorry about that. So you'll be like, I think there is a problem here. Like this is your local, this is you, like you try. So you just keeping check of what you're doing, right? So you just have this tag and you move on. You keep moving on. Because you still come back to it, right? So you just keep moving on, doing the same thing, trying to understand the functions, right? Then after doing that, maybe you can come back again to the code base, right? Trying to now play the function to see, okay, what this function is calling to this function. You might think that, oh, this is too much. And that is why the money that they're paying smart contract auditors most times is much, right? So, but that's just by the way. So yeah, this is like what we call this is called manual reviewing. So what you're doing at this point by checking all of the code base like this is called a manual review, which is one of the most critical parts of smart contract auditing, right? Manual reviewing your code, right? So after doing that, you also move towards what you call functional testing, or before functional testing, you could do automated testing. Automated testing is by using tools, right? So you can use tools like you have tools called Slita, you have tools like Mintril, Echidna, Mendoza, different kind of tools, right, in the smart contract auditing space you could use to now test your smart contract, right? Test the smart contract you are trying to play with, right? Then after automated tools, automated testing, you could do functional testing. Functional testing is by you writing unit tests, right? For instance, okay, this test, okay, yeah, we have this test now. So you have tests here. So you have different tests, right? So you see a lot of tests. So imagine big project like this, right? Ethos is a very big project, right? So you could see a lot of these are just tests. All of these files are tests, right? Just files are tests, right? So you could see a lot of tests. And because this is what makes. So one thing about writing functional tests is that you keep building. That's a good thing about becoming a smart contract, because you need to start thinking as an auditor or as a thief or different scenarios. Okay, let me test. Okay, if this guy do this thing and he does like this, okay, let me test this thing out. Then you write the test. It's just in your head, though. You just think about it. Then you have to write it to make sure that, okay, what you are thinking is not possible. Then your test will actually be the one to confirm that. If it passes, it means it's possible. If it not pass, it means it's not possible, right? So you have to write those tests, right? Those are functional testing. Then once you're done, so in doing all of these things, as you're doing them, somehow you'll be finding issues with the smart contract, and then you'll be noting them down, right? You have a README file. You create a README file and you keep noting them down. Right. So after you're done with this, so basically this is like a basic methodology of what it means. Are we together? So let me take some questions. So yeah, okay, before the question. So after like you've written your functional testing, right? Most often, sometimes, most auditors will like, or beginners will want to get checklists. So because out of your studies, you'll be putting up some checklists. So when you're auditing some smart contract, you kind of have like a sandbox. Most times it's good. Sometimes as you keep going, it's not a very good thing to have. But at the initial stage, it's a very good thing to have. So as you make sure that, okay, every smart contract you have worked on, like, pass this checklist. So it means you can decide to have your checklist as broadened as it can, right? So yeah. So let me take some questions now. Where is my call? Questions.
Okay. Is it that smart contract analyzing? It's like you analyzing the code, inspecting the code, and checking for vulnerabilities within the code.
Sorry, come again.
Okay, is smart contract analyzing like you inspecting the code and trying to check for vulnerability within the code?
Is smart contract analyzer, is that what your question is?
Analyzing,
Is smart contract analyzing, checking the code or trying to find vulnerabilities around the
like
code?
inspecting the code and trying to find vulnerability within the code.
Yes, like what does the name, like, sorry, but like the name implies analyzing, right? So you now analyzing the smart contract, right? You analyzing the code base, checking the code. That's what it is. Trying to find what are the issues? Because when you're analyzing, you have like a goal, right? One of your goal is to make sure that there is no issue. You're not just analyzing because you are analyzing, right? You're also analyzing with a goal in mind to make sure that there is no issue. And if there's any issue, you report, you jot it down. So yeah, that's what it is. It's checking the code, finding any vulnerability, making sure the code is correct. The code follows best practice. The code is written in the best way. The code is effective. The code is optimized. Like, all of these are things. So what we're just trying to do in this code, because of lack of time, is I'm just trying to crash just so as you could get something and take home. But there are lots to also consider in smart contract auditing. Yeah. Is it Ekene? Let me go in Ekene.
Okay. Okay, yes, sir. My question is, like different protocols now, like have different functions. Let me give an example now. Like, let's say, in this code arena, like different this thing. Like, I want to know. Let's say I want to know about, like, in a particular protocol now that I've not seen before. Maybe they are doing something like voting now. Like, how am I able to be able to like think and figure out, like in this protocol now, like I don't know how to put it. Ah, Jesus. Like in a particular protocol now, like I've not seen before or heard anything about it before. How can I figure out a vulnerability in it?
Beautiful. The truth is, you cannot jump, right? This life is process. This life is process. You can't just jump one day and say you want to start any money like Mr. Um, um, uh, what do you call him? Sorry. You want to start any money like Mr. Darlington, right? You can't just jump one day and start saying, man, me, I want to just be like Darlington like this. Guy, you know they happen now, right? It's not like it's not that it's not possible. But the reason because it's not possible. Let me say it that way, right? Is not possible. Why is not possible? Because there's a process, right? And you need to follow that process. If it's possible, like you'll not even be here, right? You just wake up and you start doing what you want to do as just you start doing what maybe Darlington is doing, right? And probably better than him, right? But there's a process, and probably that's how life how God designed it. So what am I trying to say here is that um, in the same vein, there's a process. So you went to on Code Farina, for instance, right? You went on Code Farina, you don't even know what smart contract auditing is. Probably you're just learning blockchain and you're even struggling with Solidity. You're still trying to even learn how Solidity is, right? The truth is that two things will happen. Is that you get frustrated on that Code Farina, or you just leave, right? So what am I trying to say is that the process is that there are basic things you keep learning, and that's why that's why that roadmap is so much. I share that roadmap. Where is it again, sir? I don't know why. Um, Oops. Okay, now I'll share with you guys the mind map. So that's why that roadmap is very important, right? Because it now shows you, okay, these are the steps. You can't jump from line, even though it's possible for you to jump from line, you didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you just jump to 8. You struggle, right? So, but you see, as you keep going gradually, step by step, what is happening is that you are building the block. So it's almost impossible to come to that point where you see something very new that it's not like it's new, that you will not be able to play around it. It's almost impossible. And it's not like you will not be seeing things that are new. Surely you will see things that are new. But one sweet thing I love about this smart contract auditing space, or the whole blockchain space, especially in the EVM space, is that most projects, especially when you come about DeFi, right? You find that DeFi, most projects have similar things. It's that you find what is, in DeFi, there are things, so in guild audits, right, where we're doing the training, right? One of the things I usually tell the students is, when you want to learn DeFi, 4 projects you learn and you're good with DeFi. Like, I mean, from a more technical point, right? From a more coding point. If you know Uniswap, you know Aave, so these are projects, right? So you know Uniswap, you know Aave, you know Compound, you know Synthetics, you know Curve, right? Or maybe Balancer. So they are called the Master Chef projects or Master Chef protocols, right? So I think so. These are like DeFi projects. So most projects that are coming up now have some atom of what this project has in them. So imagine you know all of these projects. When you come to a new project and it's a DeFi project, you surely see something as liquidity, you see something as bond, you see something as as borrowing or lending somehow. And some of these projects I just mentioned, these are the core things they do, right? So knowing them give you a leverage to understand this new project quickly. And that's another good thing about learning. So now you take more time to learn this new project. This new project has taught you something, because the truth is that it's a new project. You might not know anything about it, and that is what it is. But you have to take your time. You have to take that process now to learn that project, to understand what that project is all about, right? Both from the technical parts. That is why you're a software developer. That's why you're a blockchain developer first, or you're a smart contract developer first, right? So you know to learn how that project is, right? Then you start um, finding problem in them. So you can't just jump into new project that you have never seen before, right? Let's even say you're a smart contract developer, you're an auditor, you're even an auditor with 5 years experience, and then there's a new project entirely. See, the same the same problem you are facing. Don't think somebody in the US is not facing it. I can tell you for free. Even though you have 5 years experience as a smart contract auditor, if a new project comes, the same problem you face, I can tell you for free, is the same problem somebody in the US will face. There is no two ways about it, right? So it's there is no like, oh, how do I, don't just get to yourself overwhelmed. It's a process. Just know, okay, it will take you time to now understand the project, and be happy to even spend the time, because once you do, the next time you see similar thing on that, boom, it will not take you time. You just move forward to the next thing, because you already have taken time to understand that project. So when you come to another project that is a new project that has similar thing like that other project that took you time, probably the next project will be like, you just take like 2 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour to go through what you want to go, and you're done. I hope that answered the question though. Okay, thank you. Any other question, please? Any other question? Okay, I think that will be all. If we don't have any other question, I think that will be all for today. That will be all for the class today. So no question. Okay.
How do I join your academy? If there can be any privilege, I want to dig deep in smart contract auditing, sir. Please, sir.
No, so the academy is not like it's a problem. Even when the announcement comes, it will be done publicly, right? But that's really not even a problem. The first problem here is you're here even learning smart contract development, right? So it's a process. Like I would really want to say this is a process. So in fact, I usually advise, once you're done. See, we are Nigerians. This is my advice. I used to advise this. Once you're done learning a skill, a particular. That's why sometimes you learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you just jump into another thing. For me, this is like the school of thought I come from. You've learned blockchain development. Can you stay probably 1 year, or can you stay 6 months? If I start making money out of it, find projects, do hackathons, do stuff out of it first before you move to the next space. As much as serious you could be, I will really, this is my own advice, like this is just my own, right? It's more interesting. Okay, you've learned this thing, right? So you've learned this part, you've learned blockchain development. Can you just stay on blockchain development, build stuff, do stuff? In fact, that's what I love. There are a lot of hackathons out there, right? That you could do hackathons with your blockchain development skills. At least you could get some money out of it, some experience out of it in the space in the next 6 months or in the next 1 year. Then after that, you'll be like, okay, I want to now move forward. Then you learn a new skill. You can even decide, okay, the new skill you want to learn is protocol. You don't even do you want to learn protocol, maybe building your own blockchain, right? But at that time, you have a grasp of this one you have already. So not just to after you're done, you're almost struggling with. Like I'm not saying you're struggling because I don't really know how in depth you are. So, but let's say you're just done with learning blockchain development and you have not built anything, you have not even tried anything, you have not built any project, you just jump into auditing. It's good though. It's not a bad thing, but if you ask me, I will not advise that. Right? I will not advise that. So the truth is, um, even this the program will be doing, we'll be sharing the link publicly, but and there's actually screening out of though there's actually a screening. So but that's just what it is. It's a public, it will be shared up publicly. The link will be shared publicly. So if you see that, you can register. But just know that there'll be screening out of it. But this is my advice for you. I will really advise, like, start making money out of it. In fact, that's the first motivation. You learn this. Don't say you want to move. Just start, because the more you build product, the better you become, right? So just start finding how do I start making money out of it? Because for me, I feel if you start thinking of how to make money out of it, more ideas will come on how to now make money, how to build product, what problem to solve. Because one thing I used to say when I talk about money, people think like, me, I too like money. No, I can use money. I will be telling you it's money, but I understand something. Is because nobody will pay you money if you're not adding value. It's as simple as it is. Nobody will give you their money if you're not adding value to what they are doing. If it's hackathon you are doing, you cannot win hackathon if you not build anything. So it means if you build something, it means you have added value to the hackathon. And you cannot just build anything rubbish, because people are doing hackathon and some people are not winning. So it means if you build hackathon, it means you have to build something very interesting, right? So I would really advise, like, you're done hackathon. I'm happy that you have great guys, blockchain UNN, the whole core team are really awesome guys. I believe something good, they will surely want to put you guys into something very good, so as you can use what you have learned quickly and see how you can start getting more experience. Yeah. Most question. Let's what's the time? Okay. Som to Chuku. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Please, can I ask you, where does DevOps come into blockchain space, please?
Very nice question. Um, I think I have, like, even though I don't have like a full-fledged answer, but yeah, I could say, yeah, it comes into play more of like a lot of things, right? So the DevOps is not like is a different thing in the Web3 space. So let's say, in building your smart contracts, right? It's more of a back-end thing. So one first example would be, you want to containerize. Is it containerize you call it, right? You want to create containers. You want to create Dockers, right? I think these are DevOps stuffs, right? Dockers and likes, right? So this is where a DevOps engineer will be handy, right? Handling is this continuous development, right? CD, right? Then you have continuous development, and what is the other thing again? Um, um, can you help me now? I'm trying to remember. You have continuous development, and the other one is what?
I don't really know. But what do you mean by Docker,
And
please?
CI and CI. I thought you were even a DevOps person. I'm CI. So you have continuous integration and continuous development. Thank you, Henry. So you have CI and CI CD, right? So so I don't know. I was thinking, you kind of, you're a DevOps person, and so, but yeah, that's where
No, not
DevOps.
really.
Okay, but that's where DevOps
I
comes.
think we have
Can I ask one more question, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please. So, but
What
wait,
do you mean?
hope you're clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But one more thing.
I thought, okay, ask then.
Like, I need more clarification about Dockers.
That's like not the topic for us today, and I think this is outside the scope of even the blockchain training. This is like software development training. That will be
All
like
right,
something you have to learn on your own. Yeah,
all right. Thanks.
you're welcome. Question? Anybody? Okay, thank you guys. It's really a pleasure and a privilege to be in the midst of great guys like you guys. Okay, Henry, you have a question. Henry Okeke. Question. Okay, I guess I don't know if Mr. Darlington. I think that's the end of the call training today.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for this amazing class. I think it was really a great way to end the bootcamp. Henry, are you saying something?
Yes, 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 yes. I should drop the question in the chat box. Yeah, it's noisy. That's why. Sorry. Please do. Please do. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Darlington, you were saying something. I didn't even hear what you were saying.
Yeah. Henry interrupted me, so I was wondering if he was asking a question or something.
No, I think he's asking for the link. I'll share the link now.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. David for um, joining us in this class, right? I think it was like a really great way to end the boot camp. So the boot camp started about, I can remember, I'm sure it should be have been more than 15, 16 weeks already. That was just after the blockchain union conference, and it's been amazing amazing 24 sorry 16 weeks to spend right learning different things, and today was supposed to be the last class, and that was why we decided to talk about smart contract security and how you could get started in the auditing space. And I'm very sure Mr. David did a wonderful job, and you guys went home with like a lot of value. So for that, we're really grateful, Mr. David. Thank you. And also just some few more announcements, right? I already created groups for like the final project. I broke us into teams. So I don't know if you've not seen the message yet on the WhatsApp group, go back to the WhatsApp group and link for your team and try to join your team before Sunday, right? Because on Sunday, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how we can go about the final project. Giving you tips on how we can come up with like a good project idea. Also, you get to like know and meet your mentors personally. Obviously, you know them because they've taught during the classes, right? So, but I would introduce each of them to you officially, and it's your responsibility as a student to try to like fix a class with your mentor when you guys have probably come up with a topic or something. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that in details on Sunday. And other than that, right, I also want to thank every single one of you, right, for staying till the end. It's been like I know it's been a hell of a journey because we started, I think we had over 150 applications. When we started, right, we having like 30 something persons, and mm, not up to, I think there are only 15 persons like that qualified to do the final project. So you guys are the real MVPs. I mean, it should have taken a lot of resilience and determination to get to this point. And I'm sure probably definitely the next few months, the next few years, you guys are going to be doing wonderful stuff in the ecosystem. Thank you so much, everyone. And I think we'll be calling it a day here to have an amazing night ahead.
Thank you, sir. Good night to you too.
Thank you, sir.